Accessing library computer data.
Hello and welcome to part 1 of 2 of my review of the brand new Ferengi faction pack. In this video I'll be covering the ships and the captains, and in the next video I'll be covering all the upgrades and the 2 reference cards that come with it. There's some really good cards in here, and Ferengi are certainly now, I think, a playable faction, faction pure anyway. But let's get started. Alright, so what comes in the Ferengi faction pack? You get a Lawrence Vertebra / Burrell class ship template, a Prox Marauder / Decor class ship template, a Solox Marauder / Decor class ship template, a Gasa Shuttle / Ferengi Shuttle ship template, a 1 Burrell class ship maneuver dial and model. You get 2 Decor class ship maneuver dial and models, 1 Ferengi Shuttle ship maneuver dial and model, 11 shield tokens, 17 gold press latinum tokens, 1 chemosite effect token, 1 +0 admiral ID token, 2 Prac ID tokens, 2 Damon Solok ID tokens, 2 Berta ID tokens, 2 Gynt ID tokens, and then 2 missions, Profitable Acquisitions Part 1 and Part 2. As with all the new ships that WizKids has been releasing, there's also a repaint of the Decor class. Again, it's a bit more metallic orange, otherwise it's pretty much exactly the same. You get actually a pretty nice looking Burrell class, that kind of metallic green, and Gasa Shuttle, which is actually the same as the Cork's Treasure shuttle. So the first ship that comes in the pack is Lawrence Vertebra. It is a dual faction Ferengi and Klingon Burrell class with 4 attack, 1 agility, 3 hull, and 3 shields. Evade, target lock, cloak, and sensor echo on its action bar. 1 tech, 1 weapon, and 2 crew slots for 18 points. And its ability is combat phase. If there is an opposing ship in the primary firing arc of this ship and the primary firing arc of another friendly Ferengi ship with a Ferengi captain equipped to it, target that friendly ship. This ship attacks first this game round, and the target ship attacks second this game round. So this is 4 points cheaper than previous named Burrell class ships. I also like the ability on this ship being able to attack before your opponents, especially since this ship can be cloaked. Add something like Lursa from the new starter set, and range, you can get 6 attack dice before your opponent will even be able to fire at you. So I really like this card. Next we have the generic Burrell class. Again, is dual faction Ferengi and Klingon, something that I really like that they're doing with that, as compared to like the USS Defiance 1764 and the Robinson, which are only Federation and only Dominion for their generic counterparts. So that's good to see. You get 4 attack dice, 1 evade, 3 hull, and 2 shields. Same action bar of evade, target lock, cloak, and sensor echo. You get 1 of each slot again, so tech, a weapon, and a crew slot for 13 points. So this is 7 points cheaper than the previous generic Burrell classes. This is a huge point reduction. Certainly makes the ship playable, even though it's kind of frail. You can run theoretically 10 of them in a 130 point game with generic captains. So I really like this generic with its reduced point cost. Then we have the maneuver card for the Burrell class. Its only red is a 3 combat, otherwise all its other maneuvers are green and white. It is both a 2 and 3 hard turns and a 4 straight, so it's not the fastest ship in the game, but it can certainly outmaneuver a lot of other ships. So the second named ship we have is Prox Marauder. It is a Decor class with 3 attack, 1 evade, 4 hull, and 3 shields. Evade, target lock, and scan in its action bar, and 2 tech, 1 weapon, and 1 crew slot for 21 points. One thing I have noticed with this faction pack in particular is that the named ships are no longer cost the same as the other Decor class that comes in this pack. Is actually 1 point cheaper than this one. But anyway, its ability is action. Target a tech or weapon upgrade equipped to an opposing ship within range 1 to 2. Each player rolls 5 attack dice. If you roll more battle stations than the controller of the target upgrade, steal that target upgrade even if it exceeds this ship's restrictions. I'm not a huge fan of this ability. Again, it relies a little bit too much on luck for it to succeed, and the fact that it takes an action, I don't really think it's worth it, but it is still nice to see a bit of a point reduction in the named Decor class ships. Next, we have the generic Decor class. So it is 3 attack, 1 evade, 4 hull, and 2 shields, with evade, target lock, and scan on its action bar. And as with most of the new generic, it has 1 of each of the upgrade slots, so it has 1 tech, 1 weapon, and 1 crew slot for 16 points. I still like this generic card. Its reduction in cost certainly makes it more playable. It's not the best generic. I like the generic Burrell a bit more, but still not a bad generic. Then we have the movement card for the Decor class. So it has a 4 straight, which is white. Its 3 hard turns are red, and it has a 1 reverse, which is also red. Otherwise, all its other maneuvers are white and green. So it kind of turns like a boat if you don't want to have to take an auxiliary to perform your 3 red hard turns. Its one reverse is kind of nice to see. Makes it a bit of a surprise maneuver, but it's not a great maneuver card. The second named Decor class ship we have is Solok's Marauder. It is 3 attack, 1 agility, 4 hull, and 3 shields. Evade, target lock, and scan its action bar. With 1 tech, 1 weapon, and 2 crew slots for 20 points. So again, this is 1 point cheaper. And its ability is when the ship performs a 3 maneuver, the ship may perform a white maneuver. If it does, it rolls -1 attack die this game round. I actually don't mind this ability. You can certainly get a lot of maneuverability out of this ship. Position yourself well out of your opponent's firing arc, or if after your initial move you're still out, you can perform another white maneuver. The ship has quite a few of them. You can perform a 3 and then a 4 straight, so if you need to go for an objective or something. So I actually really like this Decor class ship. So we have another generic Decor class. It's the exact same as before. The only difference is they changed the picture. Then we have the movement card again. It's the same. The only difference is they changed the picture for this maneuver template. And the last ship we have is Gasa Shuttle. So it is a Ferengi Shuttle with 2 attack, 2 evade, 2 hull, and 2 shields. With evade and scan on its action bar, and attack and 2 crew slots for 12 points. And its ability is other ships within range 1 to 2 cannot be removed from the play area unless they are destroyed. So this is 4 points cheaper than the previous shuttle, Quark's Treasure. But I do think that this ability has been kind of nerfed or made obsolete already with the ruling from WizKids that cards like Warp Jump, Subspace Vortex, and Inversion Wave have been banned from tournament play. So it's kind of a useless ability. The reduction in points is nice, but I like Quark's Treasure as a shuttle more. Next, we have the generic Ferengi Shuttle with 2 attack, 2 evade, 2 hull, and 1 shield. Evade and scan in its action bar with 1 tech and 1 crew slot for 8 points. So the Ferengi Shuttle is now 6 points cheaper than it was before, which is a huge reduction in points considering it only has 3 durability. You can still throw in cargo hold as a tech upgrade and ferry upgrades from ship to ship. I just don't see it seeing a lot of play. And then we have the movement card for the Ferengi Shuttles. So as with all the shuttles, they're super maneuverable. They're not super fast with only a 3 straight, but they have no red maneuvers. They have the 1 and 2 hard turns and 1 and 2 come about. So super maneuverable ship. The first captain we have is Prak. He's a 6 skill captain with an elite talent slot and costs 4 points. Setup. Place 2 gold press platinum tokens, or GPLT, on this card. Activation phase. Spend 1 GPLT and target an opposing ship within range 1 to 2. The controller of the target ship chooses one of the following. Repair 1 damage to this ship's hull or shields, or the target ship cannot perform actions this game round. I actually really like this ability. It doesn't require an action, which is nice to see. Plus, even though your opponent chooses, you still have a benefit. Either they repair the ship that Prak is assigned to, or they take a detriment to themselves in which they cannot perform actions. So I think this is a really good captain. The second captain we have is Damon Solok. He is a 4 skill captain with an elite talent slot and costs 2 points. Setup. Place 2 gold press platinum tokens, or GPLT, on this card, and place 2 crew upgrades, each with a printed cost of 3 or less, face down beneath this card. Activation phase. Spend 1 GPLT. Flip a crew upgrade beneath this card face up and equip it to this ship, even if it exceeds this ship's restrictions. Remove the other face down crew upgrade beneath this card from the game. I think this captain's really interesting. It lets you build your ship how you would like it, as these crew do not count towards your restriction, but then lets you take 2 crew that are maybe a bit more situational depending on what your opponent brings, maybe some Borg defense or defense against cloaking or something of that nature. So I don't think he's something you want to maybe bring every time, just kind of a bit lower captain skill, but certainly a cool ability. The third captain that comes in this pack is Berta. He is an 8 skill captain with an elite talent slot and costs 5 points. Setup. Place 3 gold press platinum tokens on this card. Planning phase. Spend 1 GPLT and target a captain equipped to another ship within range 1 to 3. Increase or decrease the target captain's skill by 2 this game round. So you can use this to bump down your opponent's captain's skill, make them shoot later, maybe depending on their maneuvers, they will bump into a ship that they weren't planning on it. Or you can increase one of your own captain's skill so they can shoot earlier, or to bump up Car to a 10, so if they have like a Picard 9, then you still get that extra +1 attack dice. The final captain we have is Gynt. He is a 2 skill captain with dual elite talent slots and costs 3 points. You may only equip the Grand Nagus and the Rules of Acquisition elite talent upgrades to this captain. Setup. Place 2 gold press platinum tokens, or GPLT, on this card. When you would spend 1 or more GPLT, you may roll a number of defense dice equal to the number of GPLT that would be spent. For each evade, spend 1 fewer GPLT. I really don't like Gynt as a captain. The low captain skill definitely hurts. The limited number of elite talent upgrades that you can equip to him, and only 2 gold press Latin tokens is not a lot. I mean, you get some more with the Rules of Acquisition, but I much prefer his Admiral side, which I'll cover next. And the final card that I'll be covering in this part of the review is Gynt. He is a +0 Admiral with 2 elite talent slots and costs 3 points. You may only equip the Grand Nagus and the Rules of Acquisition elite talent upgrades to his Admiral. Setup: place 2 Cold Breast Latinum tokens, or GPLT, on the captain equipped to the ship. When a friendly captain would spend 1 or more GPLT, you may roll a number of defense dice equal to the number of GPLT that would be spent. For each evade, spend 1 fewer GPLT. I really like Gynt as an Admiral. You could add 2 Gold Press Latinum tokens onto the captain equipped to the ship. And for each evade that you roll when you're spending your Gold Press Latinum tokens, you get to spend 1 less. So I really like Gynt as an Admiral for the Ferengi faction. So thank you for watching part 1 of my review/overview of the Ferengi faction pack. I really like some of the cards in here. Some of the name ships are actually quite good. Some of the captains are also super handy. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for part 2 of the review of the Ferengi faction pack.